Welcome to the 7th of August. I am well and truly 51 years of age, and I recently had somebody reach out and ask me some questions about how I was feeling about the reconstruction that started back in October of 2020. And I thought it was such a really good question because I've been living with a new body since then. So here are some of the things that I shared with her. So in case you're not watching these from the beginning, I had a double amputation, also known as a mastectomy, and a DIEP reconstruction, which means the incredible reconstructive surgeon used flesh from my belly, in my case, to reconstruct breast mounds for me. So there's going to be a lot of talk about boobs right now. So one of the questions she asked was, what was it like when you woke up and how did you feel about your new boobs? Well, I can assure you, I didn't look at them for probably a full 24 hours, maybe a bit longer. I was actually scared to look at them and see what change had been made. I was a little bit scared of not liking them, of rejecting them emotionally. That didn't happen. I remember lifting up my gown, looking and going, "Ooh, check those out." So that's that was a good question. A couple of other questions she asked about sensation. So I didn't have the privilege or the opportunity to have nerve sparing surgery. So I don't have any nerve sensation. That being said, I do experience phantom sensations like any amputee would, and I know that there's not a lot written about that or discussed about that for women, but I can assure you it's there. A couple of the ways it turns up for me, if my body is having some type of hormonal experience, I don't know about you, but before I went through all the menopauses that I went through, when that was a normal part, when my hormones were fairly, you know what I mean, the monthly thing that women go through, yeah? My boobs would feel quite different, quite tender. Sometimes there would be tingling in them and sensation in them, which sometimes let you know that, you know, the hormones were happening. I can still experience that, even though I have no breast tissue to experience that. That is a phantom experience for me. The other thing that's going on for me at the moment is over my birthday weekend, I indulged in some incredibly rich food that was high in all the calories. It was delicious, but I can feel very, very full and very stretched. And in a previous life, I may have referred to that as feeling fat. But because I've used my own breast tissue, my tissue, my cells will actually expand and contract. So if I put on weight, my boobs will grow. If I lose weight, my boobs will shrink. That's the whole reason why I wanted to use my own tissue and not have implants. I wanted it to feel more like me. And there was no way on God's earth, after having a cancer diagnosis and knowing there were tumors in my body, for me, I was just not putting anything foreign in there. That's my decision based on who I am and what I needed to do. I don't have my own nipples. They have been created for me out of my skin. There is no nerve sensation in my nipples, and I had an incredible tattoo artist create them for me. They have taken some getting used to. So women, when it gets a little cool, our nipples can sometimes tell us that we might need to put a jacket on or a jumper on, or that we need to cover up in some way because they're like, ooh, that's a little cool. I don't get those signals, so much so that I can dive into the water swimming. My top can sometimes get pulled down and I can come out of the water or basically topless because I can't feel it across. So that's a bit of a funny story that goes on there as well. I don't wear a bra anymore. It's just more comfortable for me to not wear a bra. I did spend quite a lot of money buying them throughout the various stages of my reconstruction, and I'm actually just much more comfortable and much more supported without one. I do wear crop tops and quite elasticized sort of singlet camisole tops, and I find that gives me more than enough support. I find when I try and wear it, I won't wear an underwire bra, and if my surgeon ever saw this, he'd be going, "Thank God, don't wear them." But I just find that the way bras are constructed are really uncomfortable under my arms, under my armpits, and they create an incredible amount of pressure across my neck, which I'm just not happy to live with when I don't need to. The scarring from my boobs is gone. Like, you can barely see any scarring there now. That has been an exceptional reconstruction. There's barely any scarring there. They feel soft. The hardness from when the initial, swelling was there, that's well and truly gone. I enjoy the shape that they create under clothing, and I'm really glad that I went with this reconstruction. I'm really glad. The scarring across my belly causes me some discomfort when I'm in a public place. So if I'm out changing in a public change room, such as a swimming pool or at the beach, I'm very mindful that people might see the scar and be confronted by it, or just ask me questions that I don't want to answer. That scar is quite large, and there is still some abnormal sensation in my abdomen, so it can feel quite tight. There's nothing wrong. It's just scar tissue that's going to take a while to break down, so it doesn't scare me. I don't have any overly sensitive scarring. I worked, like, my post-operative care was really good to make sure that I didn't develop oversensitivity on the scarring. So that I don't find there's no problem with me wearing pants or skirts or different waistbands or belts. It's much lower than my waist anyway. It's right down almost to the top of my pubic bone. And no, you can't have pictures of that. Simples. So if they are some questions that you have about what it's like a couple of years after the reconstructions, hope that answers some questions for you, because there's not a lot of literature on this. There's not a lot of women talking about it. And I hope this inspires other women to want to share their experience. Although please understand, this is an invasive procedure, an incredibly invasive experience. So if women don't want to talk about it, that's kind of okay too. So if you've got questions or if there's something else you would like to know, please put it in the comments below, and I will come back to you and answer them.